With the French forward Ousmane Dembele, the 25-year-old's previous deal with the Spanish side had expired this summer, but he has now committed to a fresh deal until June 30, 2024. And on tennis, Andy Murray recovered from a set-down to reach the quarterfinals of the Hall of Fame Open in Newport, Rhode Island. Australia's Max Purcell broke Murray twice, a road to winning the opening set, and broke the former world number one again at the start of the second. But the Briton, aged 35, won the next 6 games to take it to a decider. The squad maintained that momentum to clinch a 4-6, 6-2, 6-1 victory. Muhammad Sani Uba, Freedom Radio.
The global news is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradionig.com. Welcome back. You still listen to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. The ECOWAS court has declared unlawful the suspension of Twitter by the government of President Muhammadu Buhari and ordered the administration not to repeat it again. This development is coming on the heels of a suit by Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) and 176 concerned Nigerians. It could be recalled that following the deletion of President Muhammadu Buhari's tweet, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, announced the suspension of Twitter in Nigeria. The government also threatened to arrest and prosecute anyone using Twitter in the country, while the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, asked all broadcast stations to suspend the patronage of Twitter. But in the judgment delivered today, the ECOWAS court declared that it had the jurisdiction to hear the case and that the case was therefore admissible. The court ruled that suspending the operation of Twitter is unlawful and inconsistent with the provision of Article 9 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and Article 19 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, both of which Nigeria is a state party. The ECOWAS court also ordered the government to bear the cost of the proceedings and directed the Deputy Chief Registrar to assess the cost accordingly. And on business, the Naira today fell to 620 Naira per dollar at the parallel market amid the lingering scarcity of the greenback. The figure represents a depreciation of 5 Naira or 0.8% from the 615 Naira it traded last week. Buried exchange operators in Kano told Solar Space today that the dollar exchanged for 620 Naira at Wapa in Fagi local government area, while at Central Hotel, the American dollar goes for 621. According to the Central Bank of Nigeria, the parallel market is not a true reflection of the country's exchange rate. As the Russia-Ukraine war escalates, global markets continue to face economic uncertainties, where on Tuesday the euro fell to parity against the dollar for the first time in almost 20 years. It means euro is now worth the same as $1 US. Muhammad Abdullahi has continuation on business.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, said that inflation, debt, forex crisis is pushing the Nigerian economy and other African economies to the extreme edge. The managing director of the IMF, Christina Georgieva, said ministers of finance and central bank governors in Africa disclosed this to her in a meeting. She noted that particularly difficult conditions in many African countries at this moment is important to consider. She added that most countries on the continent could raise money from the global financial markets and do not have large domestic markets to turn to. According to the MD of the Washington-based lender, the human and economic impact of the war in Ukraine has worsened with commodity shocks and an increase in cost of living, leading to a crisis for hundreds of millions of people. Meanwhile, the National Association of Stevedoring Operators, NASO, said that the country is losing billions of naira to international oil marketers over a refusal to allow appointed agents of the Nigerian Port Authority on board their platform. platforms. The national president of NASO, Mr. Bolaji Sanwo-Olu, said this while addressing journalists in Lagos yesterday. Sanwo-Olu stated that payments to dock workers are stolen, taxes are stolen, Federal Inland Revenue Service is losing money, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency is losing money. He explained that before the association was collecting 100,000 naira for membership registration, but things are changing, which prompted them to decide at the executive level to upgrade its status to 250,000 naira. Moving on to the price of commodities at Dawano Market in Kano, one bag of maize goes for 21,000 naira, guinea corn for 22,500 naira, and millet traded for 25,000 naira. Muhammad Abba Abdullahi, Freedom Radio.
And on the foreign scene, a judge in the Gambia has sentenced to death the country's former intelligence chief, Yankuba Badinji, and 4 other security agents for the killing of in 2016 of a political activist in the final days of a brutal rule under former President Yahya Jammeh. Aisha Muhammad Edliman reports.
The activist Ibrahim Sulu, a leading figure in the opposition United Democratic Party, had been arrested during the anti-government protests. He died in a prison 2 years later, having been beaten and tortured. His death galvanized a wave of popular anger that eventually led to ousting of President Yahya Jammeh after 22 years in power. Mr. Jammeh fled to Equatorial Guinea in 2017, where he remains in exile. Meanwhile, the military-led government in Mali says it is suspending all new rotation of the United Nations peacekeeping troops due to the national security reasons. This comes days after 49 Ivorian soldiers were arrested on arrival in the country on suspicion of being mercenaries. Officials in Ivory Coast said they were there to support the United Nations mission known as MINUMAS under the agreement contract between the two countries. The junta in Mali, which is trying to put down an Islamist insurgency, says its foreign ministry was not informed of any deployment via the official channels. Aisha Muhammad Eleman, Freedom Radio.
And with this, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful evening.
Freedom.